don't know. I was going to record and just tell him, fucking fix the headphones. That's all.
Jacob, if you're listening to this, you have work to do. Get to it.
There she goes again. I can't
You
stand
got work to do.
I don't like Liz. Liz is recording us right now. Okay.
You said you had a message. I sent it to him.
Well, yeah, Jacob, get to it, baby. Just kidding.
And everybody else, welcome back to I Hate That Shit, a podcast about hating shit and loving life.
Cold open.
I'm Liz. That person, Jacob's bestie.
Yes, that's right. You know it. Hi, guys. This is Bonnie. Hope this finds you well. It's hot as hell out here, you guys, in Arizona. I can't believe how hot it is already. It's only mid-June, right? All right, go on, Liz. Sorry, that's all I want to say. Okay, sorry, Liz, to finish your introductions.
We also have Christian coming back.
Hey. Is it my third time or fourth time here now?
Yes, I'm very excited that he's back.
Something like that, yeah.
Yes,
I think it's
because,
4.
you know, he's my guy. He's my guy. Not you, Jalen.
Whoa.
What is your beef with Jalen
Nothing.
lately?
What did he do?
He existed, I
Yeah,
think.
I
don't know.
guess. Huh?
Hey, it's just giving him a hard time. He always gives me a hard one.
Straight off the bat, talk shit last time, and then now just straight off the bat does it or something. Nobody even brings him up.
He's
He
gonna
just says
he's
it.
gonna feel bad about it too, because every time I see him, he doesn't work with us anymore. But every time I see him come in, I go, Jalen, who fucking told you you're allowed back in this restaurant?
That's good. Well, he's in Madrid now, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
somewhere over
Barcelona, or he's traveling.
Spain.
there. He's in Europe.
He's in
somewhere.
Europe. Of course he is.
Some country somewhere.
With some sugar daddy.
Probably.
Of course.
But
That's
we
how
can't
he
forget
rolls.
about our special guest.
No, we cannot.
As special as Christian is.
Oh.
Even more so.
Even more so.
Oh.
The specialist of special.
Yeah, oh.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Carissa.
Hi, I'm Christian's wife.
Yay. That's so
She's
wild.
the one who puts up with
All the
him.
people who
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody's got to.
Well, in
Well, they
defense,
don't have to.
No, but in defense of
I just
Christian,
do.
I love him. I think for a young buck, he's smart. He's handsome, for the most part. He's smart. I just can't get it. Me and Christian, we can have a conversation for hours.
Yeah.
Talk about everything under the sun. I'm sure you feel that way about your husband, right? He's like that, huh?
He is.
And he pulls shit out of fucking
Yeah.
nowhere.
He never stops talking.
No,
It's
that's why we're.
usually a good thing. I like my quiet though.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I
I
to
tried
lock-
that. I
gotta
tried
lock myself
quiet. I can't get in my head that much that long.
Don't let her lie to you. She's just being shy.
Oh no, I'm not.
Yes, you are, aren't you?
I'll be sitting and reading my book, and you just come up and start talking, and I'm just gonna have
Aw.
to stare at you sometimes, like
Aw.
I'm busy.
I think he'll be okay with that. He can always call
Eh.
me or come get on the podcast.
There you go.
True.
If Liz
Yeah.
if they show me how to do all of this stuff,
I'm pretty sure you've been shown
well,
a couple times.
I don't know how to do the video
I'll
part.
show.
though.
How about this?
if
I'll
they-
show Christian how
And
to
then
do
we-
this.
me and
If
Christian
they
could do
show
that.
her how to do it when she was sober enough to understand it.
She will immediately go smoke weed.
There
and
you go.
forget it.
Whatever.
I'll show Christian while he's here real quick.
Okay, good.
All right.
That'll
It's
be
a
fun.
5-minute rundown. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm serious
He
though.
could
You
probably
and I
figure
could
it
do
out.
one.
And then you
just
two
you
can
and
come
me.
in and have a Christian and Bonnie
That
rant.
would be so cool. We are gonna do that. Okay, show them.
All right.
I will.
Okay, so today's topic is Liz.
We figured since both teachers
We have two
Or
teachers
at
in the
least-
house.
I'm
on
a
the
st-
way
I'm-
to
yeah,
being
I'm
a
student
teacher.
I'm an education student still. Not
One's
yet.
a proper teacher.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
Okay,
then one's
when will you
trying
be
to
one?
be.
Soon.
Really?
like a few years.
I think so.
Why a few years? I thought they were giving teacher certificates at 2. They're
they
not
are.
doing that anymore, or
It
they still do.
depends. It really just depends on where you're at, what you're doing.
And he wants to be a good teacher.
Even so, when they do that, they give you a contingency. You have so many years to get the bachelor's degree.
Oh, okay. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, I did not know that. I was like, 2 years? I'll go do that. I'll go smack some kids around. That's easy.
Yeah. Like, instead of student teaching, they're giving some their like own classroom for those last 2 years while they finish their program.
That's cool.
My plan on the whole thing, because I was going to do that, is get my certificate like you were talking about after 2 years and kind of roll with it. But I didn't student teach, but like interned in my own alma mater high school.
Right. How fun.
Which was super fun.
I bet, man.
And got to talk with one of my favorite teachers that like inspired me a lot to teach. And she wanted me in that program and there and everything, so I'm gonna try and finish my 4 years and student teach with her and everything like that.
That is very cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool. I mean, I can't see me being a teacher. I mean, I was a coach. You know, the kids on that level, it's different than being in the classroom with them.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, in the classroom, I mean, I still got the shit from the parents too, but I can't even imagine what it would be like in the classroom with parents.
You can swear as a coach.
Yeah. You know, and the kids are like, "Oh, good, that's funny," you know. But it's some snotty kid in class would be like, "I'm telling my mom on you," and then the next thing you know, here comes Karen through the classroom door. What the mama? Do you get that a lot?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm constantly thinking about what I'm saying and what I'm doing because I know it's going to go home and be told to parents.
Exactly.
I had a parent come in and try and yell at me. Not yell at me, but blame me for his kid punching someone.
What?
I was teaching kindergarten. His kid punched someone at lunch because the other kid took his cookies, and it was my fault. I'm like, I wasn't even there. They were eating lunch. And Dad's like, well, what do you tell them to do? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, what do you tell them to do? Like when they hit someone? I'm like, use your words. I talked to him right after. I said, you need to use your words. If you didn't like that he took your cookie, tell him
instead of
that was my cookie. You don't take my things.
Right.
But I'm like, even if you do and say everything right, kids can still go home and tell parents, well, my teacher doesn't tell me to do this or that. So.
Oh no. See, that's the part I don't think I could handle.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, even at trying to do your best, but parents nowadays, Cynthia, you know, one of our regulars, she's a teacher too. One of the things I think, I mean, I've been out of the school system a long time, you know, 10 years, 10, 15 years, not coaching or anything, but seeing like my sister's a teacher, my neighbor's a teacher, you guys are teachers. For me, I would think that the hard part would be to hold my mouth at these teachers, at these parents. Because I think most parents want their kids' teachers to be babysitters also. Is that not true?
Yeah.
It is true, right?
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think, Liz?
Yeah.
I mean, why?
I mean, I've had parents say, like, why do you go to lunch? Why aren't you with them at lunch? I'm like, that's my break. I'm not a babysitter.
Exactly.
You know, and I had a lot of really amazing parents in my class, so I didn't have too many, but there's a few there and there who just said things, and I just think they just don't understand because they're not in that field.
Right.
But I think a lot of parents think teaching is like an easy job.
Yes, they do.
It's not. And
It's not.
Love my kids, but like I was told to like I should be eating lunch with my kids for a whole week to like
bond.
Make sure that to bond and make sure that they know how to act. It was like I'll do it for a day or two, but I do like I work through my lunch. I take my
of course.
lunch into my classroom and I have work to do, and I don't have time all day to sit on the computer, update grades, make lesson plans. Like
you do that at home, right? Don't you guys take work home?
I'm really good at not.
Oh, good for you.
I try to go in early to do all my stuff. So my contract hours at my last school ended at 3:30. I was really good. The latest I would ever stay was like 3:45, but contract hours started at 7:30, and I was usually there around 7 because I like to just come in early and get my stuff done then, and then on my breaks throughout the day, whereas a lot of teachers don't always do that, but then they're stuck there till late. So
see, I'm with you on that. Get in early and get the fuck out. Bells ringing. Best advice I was given. You're like that. The kids are like, bell's gonna ring, and you're like, yeah, it is. It's time for all of us to go home.
It was such good advice I was given, was to even no matter how much work I have, don't stay after contract. unless it really, like, I had things that, like, if they really needed to get done, I would take it home. But the things that really need to get done that night are usually things that can wait till the next day.
Right. Now, okay, now that, hearing you say that, contract, does every teacher sign a contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a contracted position.
For like a year or 5 years
yeah.
or...
Each school year you're given a contract. Now with the district I'm in, when you sign your 1-year contract, you can't move. It's technically a 3-year contract, so your contract will roll over each year.
Does that include pay increases?
Yeah, so
Good.
So
Yeah.
the way it works is I sign a contract for a full year and I can't move to another school within that district for 3 years.
Wait, what? Explain that.
So when you sign at a school
right.
for a full year, at least in the district that I work in,
Right.
you're signed on to be at that school for 3 years. You could leave that school and go to another district, but you can't get another
job
within the district.
Oh, why?
So it's just, I think, so that teachers aren't hopping around to all the different schools,
Well,
unless the district moves you, which happens.
Right.
But like for me, when I took over, I just took over my classroom and graduated in December, January. So I signed a half-year contract. So my job didn't automatically roll over for the next year. I had to go through the whole process of applying.
again.
And it wasn't too hard since I was already in the district. And I
Right.
was offered a position at my school now, but I also decided to look around.
Right, of course.
See what other schools
I
had
would
to
do
offer.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the mid-year contracts are very hard to come by.
Are they
You don't
lucrative?
find them as much.
I bet.
It's the same money, and
Ow.
you know, it's not any within teaching. It's all about your experience, at least where
course.
I'm at, and you can look it all up online. All my
Right.
pay, years
Right.
experience, all that. It's all public knowledge, right on the district website.
Right.
But
I can't even imagine
Yeah.
having to sign a contract like that. I
Mhm.
don't know. I'm just not
I mean, it
that
was what I
person.
always wanted my
The-
entire life, so I'm
That-
all for it.
Oh yeah, no, I get
Mhm.
that. But
I mean, if
just,
that's what comes with the job that you want, then
right.
and that's across the board, because I know
Right.
I don't know all the details
Mhm.
because my mom was a teacher
Mm-hmm.
and she would have to sign contracts.
Yeah.
That's weird to me. I
It's-
didn't know.
And, like,
I did not
and
know that.
She would like decide she wanted to go to this school or that school, or if they wanted her to move, she had to sign contracts too, and that was even like in the 90s and the early
It's-
2000s
yeah, it's a contracted
and all
and-
this.
Okay,
It's
so
always
Kind of
what-
kind of
guarantees
been
you're
that way.
there for that
Okay.
year, and if you leave, like I took over a mid-position year. My school that I was at had 3 mid-year positions open. It doesn't really say anything about the school. Some people think it does. I had a great experience at my school, but it's not an easy job, and
No, it's
and
not.
life things happen. Like I know one teacher for one of the mid-year positions had a family member get sick and had to move across the country. Like things happen, but it tries to guarantee that teacher's going to be there for the whole school year.
Right.
And
I
if you
get
break
that.
the contract, it's
That's what I was gonna ask
it's like
you. What
$1,000,
happens?
$2,000, or $3,000 you have to pay. To
Oh,
get out
so
of the
you have to
contract.
pay.
You have to pay to get out of it.
Wow. Of course.
Mhm.
It's the way that public schools are trying to like broad stroke everything.
Yes.
Like, because especially like if you're talking about a city like Chandler or
Mhm.
Mesa or Gilbert, like you're going to have schools that are just in nicer parts of the city.
Yep.
You know,
State.
I agree.
yeah.
that
Yep.
have more money, that have more
Right.
stuff, and instead, like if you have a good district like Chandler, like
Mhm.
they will try and put everything and pull their resources together so that even your Title Ones aren't bad schools.
Right.
You have
Yeah.
significant ability to do stuff. You have good teachers. You're getting good recruits.
Well, we
and
need
stuff
all of
like
that.
Mhm.
Now is this not true? Because with me, with my knowledge of politics and stuff, I haven't really studied a lot of the politics on the educational level.
There's a lot.
But I was wondering if our taxpayer dollars, so they don't go equally to all the schools as usual.
No.
Right? They go to the
It's
rich
based
school.
off property tax, isn't
It's
it?
property taxes. So you pay based off of. So yeah.
So if
that's
you live in a higher
right,
income place
you get
with
more
higher
money.
property taxes,
get more
that
money
school's going to get more
proportionally.
money.
That's such bullshit.
But then you also have schools like Title One. So I was at a Title One school last
Which
year.
means what? Tell
it
us.
means I don't know the exact
certain
percentage,
percentage.
but a certain percentage. I think it's 75. Don't quote me if I'm. Don't quote
That's
me.
good.
Google it. I could Google it and find it out. I just
Right.
can't think of it off the top of my head.
No need to Google it, I've done it for you. This is a direct quote from the Arizona Department of Education. A school with a Title I school-wide program is one that receives funds to upgrade the entire educational program of a school that serves an eligible school attendance area in which not less than 40% of the children are from low-income families.
A certain amount of your students are on a free and
I
or
remember
reduced
those
lunch
lunches.
and breakfast program.
Right.
Free or reduced.
Right.
That's all it means, and you get like I
Wait,
don't know the
for
amount.
Title I means
That's what makes
they
Title
get
I.
free or reduced lunches.
Yep.
It's a certain
It's the
percentage is
percentage
on
of
it,
them.
and
Oh.
if you meet that percent, your school qualifies as Title I. I know there's other things that go into it. You could probably Google the process easily.
So,
So it's
And you
not
get
like
extra
poor
funding.
side.
It's
So it's for
basically
rich kids, right?
The poor kids.
It's extra
based-
Or is
funding.
that the poor
it's for
kids?
the poor kids.
That's
Yeah.
what District 1 means?
Title I is
Title I.
Title,
basically like-
Title I.
It's for kids on free or reduced, so just
Poverty
cheaper lunch.
level.
which
Just
is exactly
it's not the
what
poverty
meant to-
level. It's
right.
just your lunch. Like
But-
if your income's under a certain amount,
Right.
I don't know it all off the top of my head. I could easily Google it, but
But
Well,
that's
I-
what it's
I-
and
meant
then
to-
the school gets
Basically-
extra funding though.
She's being
Hey.
very
So-
politically
Right.
correct
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's.
I'm a
That's
teacher.
what
I'm
I
not
can't
a
get in trouble
teacher.
here.
that's what it's meant to simulate and
Right.
meant to show. Like, if you have
Mhm.
that certain percentage that is on that, then obviously you have a certain percentage of your school.
So to
population
really dumb it down
Right.
that
Go ahead,
is
tell
below
us.
the
And not-
poverty line.
be
Right.
like
I am too.
attached to a school
Right.
for all the poor people
That would be me.
that have to get free lunches so
Right.
that their kids can eat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a Title I school.
Okay, that makes sense.
Basically, that school gets extra funding that they can use for like extra programs, like specialists and stuff to benefit the kids.
That's good.
Which- yeah.
if our money's going towards shit like that, I'm good with that.
It's meant to.
I know a
it's
lot
meant
of
to
people-
bridge the gap between.
And they
schools.
need to. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing then.
A lot of people don't like to work at Title I schools. I enjoyed it. I liked the extra resources we got, but next year I will not be at a Title I school.
How does that make you feel?
I really loved my school, but I was offered a job where I student taught at,
Right. Oh, you were
which is
saying
a school
yeah.
that I really loved and I was there for a whole year. I did a year of student teaching. That was just my program, and it's kind of sad they don't do the year anymore because it made me, even though I didn't get paid, I felt really, really ready when I started
Right.
having my own classroom. Whereas after that first semester, I did not feel ready.
Aw.
I probably would have been fine,
Right.
but I felt it. But I did. The first semester was part-time with classes on top of it. So for the ones who just do full-time for one semester, it's different. But I had a great experience, so I just wanted to give it a shot. And it's a harder school to get
Aw.
into,
Well,
but they
then there
offered
you
me
go.
a job, and so I felt really, really excited. So.
Yay. She's all like, yeah, I got it.
And that school even is a little bit on the edge. It's in a really nice area, but part of their boundaries is a lot of apartments and
right.
It's low income housing.
It is
lower
low-
income
right.
areas. So
Right.
it's a big mix.
I was gonna ask you
we
about
get a
the
lot of the-
diversity, especially in Chandler with the low income schools.
So it's weird. So we're not a low income school. We don't get that extra funding, but we do have a lot of
The diversity.
very diverse school,
Sure.
and we're the traveler school.
What does that mean?
Gypsies.
Really?
We get all, which
What?
you're not. we're not supposed to say, but yeah. the
Why?
So
Who
you have the
cares?
professional one
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
being weary of her job.
I don't have a
'Cause I love
government.
my-
I don't
Realizing
work
where
for the
we
government
are.
yet. I don't work
Well,
for
I
the government
really-
yet.
I
And then we
worked at
have
a-
the one
yeah.
who doesn't.
The
give a
restaurant that I still work at, they all love to
I
come
don't
in
work.
there,
I
so I
don't
know
work for
those
the
people.
fucking
And
government.
even now,
so
they're
they
like,
can't do shit
"You
right
teach
now.
at my kid's school," and I'm like, "I do." And
shit. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's all fine and dandy. Okay, I get that. Now, what about extracurricular activities in Title I schools?
we had a lot because a lot of even
They do track and gymnastics.
Chandler
and-
does a really good job.
yeah. Well, we
good.
had track. We didn't have like a gymnastics, but they had like a little cheer team, which was only the
Basketball.
first part of the year. Someone did basketball. They have a lot of they had a lot of clubs,
Oh,
of
good.
clubs because they have the funding and people come in from like. I don't know where, like the high schoolers will
Right.
come in and run clubs and stuff.
Oh, that's
and
good.
They still have a good amount of that at my new school. Like they have a cheer team, and I said I would because I was a cheerleader. I said I'd
Oh,
love to coach
God,
cheer.
Of course.
I haven't heard if
Now-
they need anyone, but I'm like, if you need someone, the other girl that does it is another younger teacher. I'm like, I would really love to if she needs help.
You just went down in my eyes.
I
Yeah.
wasn't the type of cheerleader you
What?
imagine. I stopped when
well,
I was
I'm
16.
just being truthful. She knows I'm kidding, but
I know. I wasn't the type of cheerleader you'd
cheerleaders.
think. I didn't really fit in with the cheerleaders, which is a big
Good.
reason.
I hated them
I-
in school, man.
I loved
did.
it for
I
the
hated
sport.
them.
I was competitive, and I loved the tumbling and the
She was a
sport.
dancer.
I was a
Oh,
dancer.
well, you could
before
tell
that,
by her
so-
body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I.
Cheerleaders in my
But
school
that
were
was
dicks.
just fun. Yeah, that's
They
what I
were.
didn't like about. I had a lot of girls in cheer like that, and I had my group of friends, but I didn't.
They were assholes.
then
They were. They
I
thought
got
they
hurt.
were the
and-
shit.
Yeah, I got hurt when I was in high school, and it's kind of like a. Oh, yeah.
So they still think they're the shit now too.
Absolutely.
I don't know about
Really?
now, but
Well,
at least when I was in
I
high school,
mean,
they did.
I haven't been in high school in 8 fucking years.
Yeah.
so
Well,
I
you're
can't
gonna
tell.
be there though as a teacher. Be
Yeah.
smacking those people.
I don't know
around.
anymore how it is.
Yeah, but I don't need to get involved in the.
was kind
of-
student
kind of-
drama
at least
at that
kind of
point,
like
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. High school. I don't think I would want to teach high school because they're bitches and they're asshole and they think they have a sense of entitlement.
See,
You know, I just don't think I would fight with them too much.
That's
but
what
they would
want.
think I was a cool teacher anyway.
this is
They probably
So
would.
maybe not.
this
so
is why I am going for the older kids is really just like there's 2 different stages of teaching. I guess there's 3 technically, and that's why we break it up into elementary, middle school, and high school.
right.
In high school, you really are learning full content. Like now it's your job to try and teach these kids about certain topics to try and get them to see like, okay, this is what I want to do with my life, you know.
Right.
We don't need to teach them how to be students. That's not the point.
I agree
In
with that.
elementary school, the elementary school
I agree.
teachers,
Primary, yeah.
as teaching
I
content is
agree with
still a
that.
part of it.
Right, of
but
course.
part of their job is to teach them how to be students.
Right, I
and
agree
to
with that.
integrate into that.
I agree with that.
Especially in kindergarten.
Oh, I know
Then
how
middle
cute.
That's
school
another
is-
reason I decided I loved it, but I took over end of year, middle year, from January to May, end of the school year. So I loved where my kids were at. And I was a little nervous about teaching them how to be in school because a lot of those kids have
Aw.
never been to school when they start kindergarten. So
That is
when
true.
I was offered first grade, I was really excited because I get to just like continue from where I was at.
You think they'll be better in first grade than
they
kindergarten
know
because
how
they have
to-
a little bit more knowledge?
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love them both, but I'm really excited about.
I feel like they'd be more
First.
used to it.
Yeah.
They
First
know
grade.
how to go to school.
Right. See, and that's the thing. That's where that mixes in with how some parents want teachers to be babysitters and stuff. But yes, teachers are supposed to help the kids be students and be better people too,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
is that part of the curriculum for you guys to do?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Like, you know, teach them, no, I don't want to say so much manners, but like, hey, don't be smacking someone like the story you were
Yeah.
saying earlier. Do you teach those kids those things? But those are the parents are like, don't fucking say shit to my kid.
Well, and the
And
hard,
then what do you do
yeah.
with that when that happens?
That's
I
a
just
lot.
try my best
know?
to teach them, but at the end of the day, if the behaviors they're learning in school aren't being enforced at home as well, which is why I was very good at like messaging parents, or I am good about messaging parents on like the app we have, and
Right.
just letting them know what's happening, good and bad. Like, hey, they're doing awesome. Like, keep this up. Or this child did this today. Like, let's work on this at home because
Right.
I want them to know, like, first off, what's happening in school, and
Mhm.
also like what is and isn't working both in and out of school.
Right.
Because if they're not learning these things at home and not taught it at home, they're going to come to school and not care what their teacher has to say because their
See,
parents don't care.
That's the hard part right there.
Mhm.
Trying to find that balance. And since you both are teachers, because I don't know the answer to this. Now, when I was in elementary school, okay, long time ago. But anyway, when I was in elementary school was K through 6.
Yeah.
And it wasn't called middle school. It was
No.
junior
Yeah, that's
high.
what it was.
Junior
when I
high.
was
Then it
too.
was 7th, 8th, and 9th
Mm.
in junior high. Then it was 10, 11, 12 in high school. Why did they put 6th graders into middle school?
So it
I don't think
depends-
they're ready.
Too.
It depends
I
on
don't-
what. So junior high and middle school are actually 2 words that they use interchangeably, right?
Right,
Like
exactly,
something.
yes.
Yeah, but they're not the same thing.
No, they're
So
not.
Middle school is 6th through 8th.
8th, right.
Right.
Yes.
But junior high is just 7th and 8th because it's a
Out
transition.
here?
Yep.
Yeah,
I went to a
Really?
junior high school.
me too.
So
I went to 7th and 8th,
grade.
and then 9th through 12th.
I had a
And
separate
that
one.
was its own school?
Yep.
That's
And then K
wild.
through
Shout out!
six,
Shout
I
out
was
to
in
Bogle
elementary.
Junior High School. Go
Huh.
Bulldogs!
You won't.
What
You
about
think
you?
That's wild.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in school, and this is very probably just to where I was in my area,
In the South, you guys.
or even to that, I don't know if it was all across. Like I know
Is it like
in
the Bayou
this,
South or like the ding 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 ding?
no, it's the coastal South.
So not
Atlantic.
Boy.
Oh, okay, whatever.
didn't have the
just finish
hillbillies.
your story. I didn't have the hillbillies.
That's what I was asking.
South of the hillbillies.
I had a teacher that was from
You're
Kentucky,
terrible.
and she used to say, "Oh yeah, I'm from the boing 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 part of Kentucky."
Oh, that's
Oh,
so.
wasn't
Oh,
us.
no.
This is South Carolina.
Well, we went. I went kindergarten through 4th grade to elementary school.
Right.
I did 5th and 6th at intermediate school,
Okay, I have heard of that.
and then 7th and 8th at middle school, and then 9th through 10th or 9th through 12th
That's wild,
in high
man.
school.
It's a way like
That's a lot waste of money building buildings like that's stupid. Come
Probably a
on
lot
now.
Smaller buildings. But even
Oh,
now,
I guess
like,
that is
I mean,
true
they have
too.
it in elementary
That
now.
is
They
true.
consider like K4 or whatever. I don't know the exact. I know K4 is like primary,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
5th, 6th, and they kind of said they do is intermediate. So I went from intermediate basically to primary.
Well, do you think 6th graders are mature enough to go to middle
No.
school? I don't think so either.
I mean, it just depends. I wanted a job in 6th grade originally. The job I applied for when I got my job was 6th grade, and they offered me kindergarten, and I'm so happy I did that because I really liked them. The 6th graders at my school were dramatic.
Well, I
You-
will say the intermediate school it made it for a softer step to high school.
I was going to say that.
where
Right.
you fully are on your own, and you're
Right.
like, here's your schedule, get from point
Right,
A to
point-
point
right.
B, and you better be there on time, and you better
6th
figure
graders
it
aren't
out.
ready for that. I don't
So
think.
at 5th grade, like
No.
that was where we started changing classes.
Right.
But you would go as a class from one to
Exactly.
the next.
Right.
And then middle school, you had to change classes, but all your classes were whatever group you were in.
Really?
A lot
Yeah.
of the higher
So,
grades
like,
are
you would
departmentalized.
have-
That wasn't
now.
me.
You would have an English class, a science class,
And
history,
everyone was
and
in the same class.
yeah.
everybody was in the same group.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was the same core classes.
Yeah.
The same
Oh, okay.
4
Oh,
core
okay.
classes. And you would go
Then your electives.
The
you would go to
teams.
different classes with different people,
Right.
but all the 4 core classes were together in
Oh,
one
okay.
area.
That's when I was
so
in
you
junior
weren't
high,
going
too.
like
Okay.
We used to
from
do that
one
in my
hall to
junior
the
high school,
next
too.
or to
Except
the
for
other
like
end
your
of the school.
specials classes.
I
and
never,
stuff.
Yeah, they
that's
were
weird
Yeah.
to me though, man.
We did that in our junior high too, and we used to have they were teams is what we called them, and we used to have full blown like competition with them. Like
Really?
yeah, we'd make personalized team T-shirts and everything,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and you'd get paired.
It was fun.
If you were in 7th grade, your team got paired with an 8th grade team.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
we didn't do that at mine.
That was really
Yeah.
that was fun to like kind of learn a little bit
Right.
from them going up and
That-
everything.
And
like,
you would cheer for your team. Like you
Yeah,
would, like,
exactly.
T5, T5.
Right. Well, that's Whitney when she was in elementary. She like Avalon now, her daughter. She's in a mixed class, like 4th and 5th graders.
yeah.
Oh.
They
I've
they
done that before,
yeah
too.
they do that in Albuquerque.
That's how our electives were.
Mixed class.
Yeah. So like if you went to like art class or gym or study hall or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever your
Right.
elective was,
Right.
In high school,
it
they
would
do
be
that
mixed
still.
between 7th and 8th.
I think that no, I like that because I think that helps with some kids who do need the maturity level because I think that's my biggest point about how 6th graders should not be in junior high. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm old or I don't see the kids as mature enough to 6th graders to go on as middle schoolers.
Yeah.
You know, and that's maybe why they call it middle school and not junior high.
It's definitely part of what they're supposed to learn. too,
Exactly.
through that maturity. It's definitely a switch.
Yeah.
And I like having the middle school or junior high as opposed to like in Europe, they don't do that.
No, they don't. We went to school on the base, so it was American. So,
But
but I don't know about that. The 6th graders, I think especially now because the way drugs are, it takes one pill one this, one that. And you know, some of those kids in middle school,
Yeah.
they're way too mature. Those 7th and 8th graders up against the 6th grader,
Yeah.
there's no contest.
Yeah, I've
It's-
heard some
it's just-
stories.
Yeah, it's just not.
I think it was definitely interesting, like, especially, like, I have a bit of a weirder connection with that, because I would assume, like, when you're thinking about drugs and stuff, like, you're thinking about it as, like, I don't know, like, being snuck into a class and stuff like that. From my perspective, growing up in where I did,
Right.
like, and it being a very high income spot, it was a completely different story.
Right.
Where, like, it wasn't, you weren't having kids that were sneaking drugs around their parents. You had kids.
They were openly doing them.
You had kids that got drugs from their parents.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Because their parents did them for like party
Because
drugs.
their parents
Exactly.
did it for parties and stuff.
Exactly.
And you see it now
Oh, it's so scary, man.
as something that people present to their children.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's so true.
wild.
It is wild.
And
I
even
mean,
with alcohol and stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen it with other people I know that are in high school or recently out of high school, and it's bad.
it is bad. The thing I don't know, it was either on Twitter or somewhere on social media, but excuse me, it was here in town too, and it's been on the news. One mom, she came on the TV and she said her son wasn't feeling good, and one of his friends said, "Oh, we'll just take this pill," and of course he died.
Yeah.
Because you know what it was. And fentanyl, people, for you out there, fentanyl, don't take it unless it's administered by a doctor. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is scary. I mean,
Drugs in general are
They are.
scary, which is why I don't do anything.
okay, I know not with you guys. You might see it more than she would being in elementary, but you being in high school, I'm sure you'll probably run into some people who have done drugs.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I mean, when I was in high school, like I dated someone who was pretty like heavy into drugs, and
What is the drug of choice nowadays?
I couldn't tell you now.
What do you think it is? Is it still heroin? Is it
I
cocaine?
doubt it's heroin.
I mean,
Is
in
it
the,
cocaine?
in the higher,
I
like,
don't know. I
in
think
the
fentanyl?
higher,
maybe. I
in the
hear a lot
higher
about
spots
coke.
like that, like higher income spots, like it's coke for sure, and then there's a lot of like psychedelics,
Ecstasy,
and
of course.
stuff like
That's-
I mean, I know it's. I
Especially-
mean,
I feel like out. It's mostly like party.
Party
yeah,
drugs.
especially with like
Yeah.
the persistence of rave culture and stuff like that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
so
It's-
scary,
There's
man.
a lot of ecstasy and LSD and stuff like that.
All right, I've done all of those.
Sure.
But the one that scares me, there's no fucking way, is that fentanyl.
it's scary. It's killing people.
It is killing people just like that. The one back in the 80s, the one that was the scary drug was ecstasy. They were like, "Oh, don't take ecstasy; it'll drain your dopamines or serotonin,
And I
serotonin,
feel
something like
so
that."
many people do it now.
Everyone does that
Everyone
shit,
does it now.
you know. But I don't know. Seeing kids in high school that do drugs like that, it really breaks my heart, because
Sad.
it is sad, because you're stunting your brain development, you're stunting your growth, you're doing so much more to yourself than, hey, let's go party. I mean, come on. I
see so
We
many
were all
people that I
partiers
went to
in
high
high
school
school.
with that I'm like,
you look at them, then you're like, what the fuck happened to them?
what
They look
happened to you? Like,
all
yeah,
old looking,
some
huh?
good friends of mine and stuff. And
High school.
I was
kinda-
lucky. I had parents that really taught me the dangers, so I
Yes.
knew to say no.
right.
I always said no. I didn't party, and
It's not hard to say no.
it's not.
It's really not, and
It's
and
not
that's
worth it.
especially. Well, do they do still like the Dare program in high school or in school? Do you guys know?
I didn't have it growing up personally.
So apparently,
I know
not.
some schools do. It all depends on the
So
school
you
and that
didn't sign the
administration.
pledge
I think they did it for like
My
a year or
kids
two when
did.
I was in school.
Right.
And then
to get
but
your
even that,
sticker.
it's like,
They were so mad at me when they found out what I did and they had done the Dare program. They're like, "Mom, you're a drug addict," you know. But they,
Yeah.
because that Dare program was like, you know, they pushed it, pounded it into their brain. It's just all like, and then of course as they got older, they realized, okay, mom's not really doing drugs; she's smoking pot.
I went,
Yeah.
Big difference.
But even then, they talked about that. Like,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
the worst thing in the world.
Dope is
Oh,
for
yeah.
dopes.
Oh, it's the gateway drug, don't you know? Come on, motherfuckers. No, it ain't. Okay, maybe for some people, because
For some
people
people.
are
But that's
Are
not
addicted to
I
drugs.
was
That's
gonna
not
say, 'cause I
necessarily
have
because
seen
of
that.
weed.
Right. But they want to
It's
explore.
anything that
I've had
could've-
friends who, and they've told me they're like, if I smoke weed, I might as well do whatever, and then I end up doing Molly, and then I end up doing heroin,
Then
and
I don't believe that, though. But you know what I mean?
I had a friend who went.
Did that?
Yeah.
She went
I
through
don't know
all of
exactly
them?
what
But
she
here's
did,
the-
but she went to rehab and she's sober now, so we're super
Good.
happy for her. But she always said, she's like,
Poor
if I smoke
thing.
weed, I might as well do everything else. So.
See? Okay, that's
For some
her
people,
logic.
but I think
yeah.
it's all about the personality and
I
how
agree.
you interact with
It's
things.
the same.
I just know people that smoke weed and are sober from everything else.
Yeah.
So
That
It's
would
the
be
same-
me.
it's-
That's me.
It's the
I'm
same
sober
thing
from
as-
everything else but weed.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
as
It
alcohol.
is.
isn't it like California
agree.
sober?
You can use it the same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. I don't do it because it makes me sick.
I feel like
So I'm like,
California
I'm
sober
good.
is bullshit.
You can use it the same way as alcohol.
is.
Okay, so
Like you
give
can still get drunk and high, but you can't
Right.
get that kind of high. or
Right.
that kinda
Yeah.
drunk.
now
Like,
tell me what would be a scenario like that in school if you did, let's say he's a junior in school and you see he's not even drugs, just wasted off his ass because you know they were on a bender. We all have been there. I have been there. But he comes into school sloppy ass drunk. What would happen?
I mean, they get sent to the administration.
Would the
And
cops come?
Probably.
We have an officer on campus at high school.
Most high schools have an officer, so they
Chandler
probably
Unif-
deal
Chandler
with them. and
Unified has an officer on campus.
I haven't obviously dealt with that, but
That would be bad.
especially if they have it on their person.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that would
Like
be
if
bad.
if they come in drunk and
Right.
then they get sent
And they
to
Yeah,
be
I-
dealt with,
something,
and
yeah.
then they happen to have something on them.
That's
I've
bad.
run across
That
a
just makes it
situation
even
like
worse.
that.
What
where,
happened?
I mean, I never saw the fuck. We have a lot of schools will have, and you don't like. It's not just like a random kid who like one day decided.
Right,
like,
right.
The people that do
The
all
problem
this-
child.
Yeah, they're the guys that got strikes on their stuff already, right? I had one not classmate. I don't even know,
Right.
like, but
You're old already, see?
I'm older, yeah. But I had someone who, they were carrying a quote unquote water bottle that was like completely full of vodka.
Vodka.
Yeah, like
That one's so easy too, man.
Yeah,
That
and-
one's the easiest trick in the book.
Oh, yeah.
right.
That's the oldest trick.
It
in
is the
book.
oldest trick too, man.
Right,
That's
you
funny.
can get away with around some of them baby boomer teachers, but I wouldn't try it around your young teachers. And
Yeah.
we're trying to get a lot of young teachers, especially
and they
in high
need,
schools.
yeah, exactly.
And they clocked him so fast. They were like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, no." And
Sad, man.
I mean, yeah, like for that, like, yeah, it depends on your stuff, but that's what I was saying. Like, you don't normally get like
Right.
just the random
It's-
kid
it-
that
right.
does that.
No,
you know?
I
like,
was talking about like the problem kids,
Yeah.
the ones that
we have,
always are disruptive, always are mean, always, you know, like I'm better than all of y'all, and
I'm
can.
so smart.
My
and I
dad can
do
buy
it.
the teachers, you know, those kind of
and
kids.
usually there's something going on at home, whether it's
Right,
they're being spoiled or something bad happening.
We would- yeah.
It's-
right.
I just try to remember the way a child's behaving is learned usually from their
Agreed.
home environment.
100%
Like-
agree.
The time a teacher I worked with told me this, like they looked into the time his child's spending at home versus at school. And like a lot of parents think because they're at school all day, they spend most of their time at school. They spend like a very small percentage of time at school.
Right.
When you add up summer, weekends, holidays,
Yeah.
the majority of the time that a child is spending at like
Well, it's 180
85
days, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's 180 days,
Mhm.
I
right?
should look
That
it
people go to school. That
Yes.
so
Something like
180,
that.
yeah, right? 9 months.
No, that's
And-
yeah, it's correct.
Yeah,
It's 180.
Yeah, it's like a nine.
that
I'm on a
doesn't
10-month
count.
contract, so it's over 10 years since we're year round.
Right.
But
Is it
It's-
still 180 with
It
the
is.
rear round too?
it's something like that.
Right.
180.
Because they
They
give them
just
like
have
2
longer
week
breaks.
breaks.
We just have longer breaks, but yeah,
Or
it's
more
still-
breaks.
It's still 180.
Yeah.
It's
More
still
break.
180.
Right.
Ooh, I got
See, in
published
180 days out of 365, I mean,
And
And
it's
all
even
their
then, it's
behavior
only
is
part of their
learned.
day.
It's only
Yeah.
like half, not even half the day.
Exactly.
It wasn't.
So-
It actually wasn't until I started like straight up working
Right.
and like being out of school completely that I realized how little time you actually do spend in a school. Like I
Not
realized
at all.
how much I could get done. Like, in the well, I mean, I'd work shifts and be like, and you'd be like, wow, like,
Only
What
13%
the fuck do
of
I-
their waking hours until they're 18 are spent in school.
That's nothing.
that's not
The rest is at
nothing.
home.
See, so it's
Or
all
wherever-
learned
wherever.
behavior.
Yeah.
It's all of that stuff. I know. I understand.
Well, you can
that.
always see it because, like, say you call in the parent-teacher conference or whatever, and the parent comes in exactly like the student
Exactly.
every time.
Exactly.
Like,
and you're like, oh shit.
it's just like, well,
And I
There's-
had a
It's gonna
really
be a
good
long
class where I
one.
didn't
Yeah.
have many situations like that. A few things, but even a lot of those weren't that bad. Even the one parent with that, he wanted to help. I think he was just trying to understand.
yeah.
It's usually what it is, but not always.
See, that's the thing. My sister, when she was still living in Albuquerque, she worked, I think it was Taft Middle School, right?
Nice.
And she had a problem child in her classroom, and of course she had a meeting with the teachers and and the principal and the parents and stuff. Well, the parent was a state senator or whatever. She was in government or whatever. And so my sister tried to explain the situation about her son, and she, of course, totally blew it off. And this was right toward the end of the school year, right? So a couple weeks later, the kids, you know how everyone's blowing off steams. They're at parties, into school year parties and stuff. Well, this same kid who was in 8th grade, right? 8th grade, did a drive-by shooting and killed like one of the heroes on the football team, right? The kid that
sad.
didn't do nothing wrong, trying to make his way in the world. And this asshole, was mad at him or whatever. And they did it. This 8th grader did a drive-by shooting.
Yeah.
It's like, and my sister was so devastated because, she tried to tell the parent. Those kind of things are the shit that pisses me off about parents not taking what the teacher says seriously.
There's a lot of that going around now.
Of course.
Actually.
That's what I mean.
And I think a lot of parents, and I understand this, it's their child, and they think they know their child best. In
Not
a lot
always.
In a lot of situations they do, but not always.
Not always.
And
They
sometimes
don't.
kids are just different at school than they are
Yes,
at home, and you
exactly.
can never see it. But if a teacher's seeing something,
And they're going to tell you, don't take it as an offense. It's like, thank you for the
as
information.
a teacher, all I want is to help every child. Even
Exactly.
if it's a kid that can irk me, I love all my kids, and all I
Of
want to do
course.
is help them.
Exactly. But don't shoot the messenger because you don't like what I'm trying to tell you
Yeah.
about your child.
It's
Yeah.
not me trying to come at
No.
your child, or it's me trying to help.
Yeah. Because I care about your child. They're in my
trying
classroom.
to be a team.
Exactly. But this mother was like, okay. And then 2-3 weeks later, he killed one of his friends or whatever, a rival or whatever you want to call it. But what do you say then? What do you do then when the parent's like, fuck?
so you, well, never.
What the
I was gonna
fuck?
say I told you so, but
Right? Well, that is what it is, though.
so no, like I never saw it coming. That's me, like
That's
I
why
told
the
you.
teacher told
I
you.
told you.
So what would you do in a situation like that?
Like that?
Yeah, if you told a parent that, hey, your child's, I don't know, and then, you find out that child that was in your class was involved in a drive-by shooting.
Yeah.
How old are you in 8th grade? 14? 13?
13.
13, 14.
13?
13, turning 14. You're
God, I could
usually
not
14 when you go into
imagine.
high school.
I can't
Depends
even
on
imagine. Being
Yeah.
involved in a drive-by shooting at that age? I was behind the gym smoking cigarettes and trying to kiss on boys. Seriously, right? I mean, come on. I wasn't involved with a drive-by shooting. Come on.
And
What
it
would
was-
you do, though?
I don't know. Because I've actually been in a similar circumstance, right? Where, when I was younger, I don't know, whatever, I won't use names.
Right.
But when I was in freshman year, I was in a class, like kind of the back of the class, and I was paired up with this.
Were you still tall and skinny?
No, I was short and skinny. No, my freshman year of high school, throughout that, I grew like an entire foot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I was in the back of this classroom with this kid who was taller and skinnier than I was, actually.
Like you are now.
Yeah, exactly. But even then he was taller than me now. But,
Really?
Yeah.
He must have been a
he's
big
tall-
kid, man.
Tall boy, but he had
Wow.
and he had some problem stuff at home, I could tell for sure. But
Right.
there was one day like that he came to school, right? And he's back and he goes, hey, look, I want to show you something. I'm like, okay. Like, so he opened his
Of
backpack
course. Mhm.
and there's
Oh, yeah, you
like 7 or 8 pairs of his clothes that he shoved in there, and they're all wrinkled up. He has this massive, long, like 10 or 12-inch Bowie knife, basically. And then I can see the back end of extra magazines and a 9mm handgun.
Fuck.
And I was like, holy fucking shit.
God. Was he on edge?
No, and he's like, and he told me, and I don't know why I believed him at the time, but I knew he was telling me the truth.
Right.
Is he goes, I'm running away from home today.
Oh.
Like, he's like, I'm gonna use this to like
Right.
rob stuff and everything. And I knew at that point, I was like, okay, well, I believed what he was saying.
I
you
would've
know, I don't know
believed him
why
too.
I did, but I was like, okay, well,
you
you're
saw
not-
the clothes and
well,
everything.
yeah, and I
Mhm.
was like, okay, so you don't plan on hurting anybody here,
Right.
Sure. You know?
Yeah.
It's still
'Cause, like,
dangerous.
Yeah.
because like if he was like, oh, like I'm going to this side of the classroom, like, or I'm going to this side of the school, like, go the other way, I'd have been like,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
no, like, teacher, like, help. Yeah.
No.
But what I did is I was like, oh, okay, and I was in this long classroom, right? It was one of my elective periods, so we had our classroom that
Mhm.
was being like taught over by the senior
Right.
teacher, right? And there's this long hallway down in the class, still.
Right. Oh, okay.
And there's a big office where the junior teacher was doing work
Right.
at the time, right? And I came over and knocked on the door and just told him like, hey, this is what I saw, this is the situation, blah blah blah. Like, I don't think he's in any he's poses any danger to
Right.
like the school, but I think it's a danger to like himself
Yeah.
and and other people around, like not in this exact
Right.
situation, but
But right.
like
Mm-hmm.
He had a gun and knife.
yeah.
I mean,
It's not safe. Yeah.
no.
No, like yeah, and
Was he mad at you? Did he find out that you told?
he has no. I don't know where he went. I
You never saw him after that
never
day?
saw him again.
Really?
I don't know if
Wow.
they ever even punished him for it. Like I don't know if
Right.
he got like because we kept it was quiet.
Right,
It was
exactly.
kept quiet, and it was in that era when people would have kept something like that quiet.
Right.
Because there's no need for panic to say like this high school
right.
there's a
Right.
gunman
I
on
agree with that
campus.
too.
Like,
Because he didn't
Mhm.
cause no
he didn't do nothing.
disturbance. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, nothing happened. But I never saw him again
Wow.
after that
See?
day. He disappeared.
That's the
And I
thing that's
don't know.
scary is like you hear about these 6-year-olds taking guns to school. How the fuck does a 6-year-old get a gun and then takes it to school and
Yeah.
shoots his teacher?
Poor security and poor teaching
How? It's
by the parent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like how? That's what I would
Some
be afraid
parents
of.
really don't watch their children at home too.
That's what I would be afraid of.
And some parents, I mean, I've seen it. You have to watch what you say around your kids.
You do.
You do, and people don't always do that.
No, they don't.
So
Unless
the
you
kids
just tell
think
them,
it's
Shut
okay.
the fuck up. You
Even
can say that.
even then though, you have to
So
understand.
I had kids coming in and flipping off people. I'm like, you're 5. Yeah.
even-
5-year-olds.
And I never got mad at them because I'm understanding this is something they've seen outside of school.
Right, or on TV.
And we sit and we talk, yeah. But
Parents.
it happened. They
Even
they
though-
didn't know what it
even there
meant.
too.
And then
They
they would
don't
usually once
know.
they learn, they stop.
They're
But
like, oh, that's
but
what
and
it
that's just I mean it starts
Oh.
at that young where they see something at home and they think it's okay because mom and dad are doing it.
But
That's
this
so
is
wild,
the thing is
man.
too is like, especially on stuff like that where you're
Mhm.
talking about guns, like your children are smarter than you think they
Agreed.
are too.
Mhm.
100%. I
like-
agree with that.
I was in a situation like I grew up in a situation where like there weren't guns in my house. My mom's not a fan at all. But I grew up. All my friends had them. They were hunters. They did like, and so we knew like
They were
we
responsible
knew what they were.
though, right?
Well, yeah, but I knew what it was.
Right.
Like you don't like go and play with a gun
I
because it
know.
doesn't. Because it's not that. It's not
No.
one of those like. It's not a toy. It's
no,
not
it's
look
not.
cool. Like
no.
like even at an age like that, like
Right.
kindergarten or
Yeah.
first grade, all my friends were shooting.
Right.
They were killing animals and
But
stuff
they
like
were
that.
responsible.
But they knew
They
what
were
it
taught
was.
how to
Right,
be
they were taught to
responsible.
be, because you see these kids had shoot, or brother, they see a gun besides dad's bed and they pick it up and they shoot a sibling or their own parent, like that kid that shot the mom through the back of the seat,
Yeah, because
and she was on the way to take her kid to school.
He gets a toy. They don't. Yeah, a lot
Because
of
they're not. Because you don't like.
a lot of
People
parents.
don't treat it the way that it should be.
I
like,
agree
A
with
lot of
that.
parents just are like, let's just ignore it and not talk about
And
it.
be
'cause
all
my kid doesn't-
cool.
But if you're gonna have it around the house, the child should know what it is,
I
how to
agree.
use it safely, and how to not use it, and it should be locked away
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
in a
It's
safe.
so true. I
I
hear
feel
you.
like we'll have to use that. That's another topic.
Yes,
Oh,
that's up there on the board. Gun control.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do
Not
that
saying
one.
I'm super knowledgeable, just when it comes to children.
Well, my thing about that, and then we'll wrap it up. My thing about that is, if you want to have guns, I don't have a problem with people having guns,
Mm-hmm.
but when you choose to be irresponsible, you're potentially hurting or killing someone else's child
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because you choose not to be responsible. And then when it actually happens, you're like, oh God, what have I done? You know, bitch, get a fucking locker, gun locker, get a gun safe.
So it's
do
really,
something.
It's really strange on like that same thing because there are a lot of societies that don't have guns that have like no violent gun crime
Exactly.
or very little.
Yep.
But also in the very complete opposite, the nation of Switzerland has the most guns per capita and the lowest violent gun crime.
And why is that?
Because they're
Teaching.
all trained how to use
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
every
It's
single
all
one of
about
them.
that. It's like, well, you can't tell me what to do with my child. That's what it all boils down to. Freedom, America.
Well, and it's
That's
because
all it
they
does.
all have to
They're
be in the
they're-
military.
It's compulsorily military service, but it goes like they get that formal
Yeah.
education of that.
Isn't
In
France the
their
same
schools.
way too?
Not in
France, but they used to be, right? Wasn't that the Legionnaires or?
That's different.
Oh,
but,
okay. Well,
sorry. Until the fall of the Soviet Union, a lot of European countries had compulsory military service,
Well,
including
we should.
the nation of Belgium.
All I can say, yeah, he had to throw in his home.
Shout out.
Yeah, see how he is. Seeing you guys talk
He's
shit
not
about
even
my ass.
technically from there.
I know, but he has family, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll call you Belgium.
I could be a citizen
Belgium,
right now
Belgium
if I wanted to.
waffles. Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyway, on that note, do you have anything left to say, Missy, over there about your kids in school?
I mean, I could talk about education all day.
I
I'm
could
trying to
too.
not talk much about like specifics
It's hard
instances.
because you're not really allowed to.
Yeah.
Why?
You have,
I just
we can turn the
just-
mics off and she can
Wait.
go off.
We like if we were to bring up vouchers, could we not talk about those?
Oh no! It's just like
What do you talk
can't
about?
tell specifics,
Like, specifics about,
events
like,
that
yeah.
happened.
Oh, okay, I get
Like,
that. That's
Even
yeah.
like little things. I was trying to be vague and switch things up because I just, I don't want anyone to hear it and get upset,
No,
and
no.
parents have the right, it's their children.
it is their.
But I
children.
can talk about the profession as a whole.
That's.
and
you
I mean,
know
for
what?
me, I'm so new to it that I'm still,
they're learning.
it's not easy, but I'm still like
It's,
in the honeymoon
yeah.
phase of it.
Okay. First of all, yes, they are their children, but you're their kid's
Mhm.
teacher. It's just like how people say, and then I'm ending it after this. It's just like what people say, free speech, free speech. You know what, motherfucker? There's also consequences of your
100%.
fucking free speech.
Yeah.
And people are like, wait, what?
There's a weird line that
What?
you have to draw
I know.
with
They
Exactly.
can say whatever with no consequences.
though, because,
Exactly.
like you're their teacher, but
Mhm.
you're not their parent.
Mm-mm.
Right.
And there's a lot of education stuff, especially while learning how to be a teacher,
Mhm.
that they'll tell you that you're like, that's not my fucking job.
Right.
Like, and they're like, oh, well, like, and you're like, no,
No.
it's not
No.
my job.
It's not
like,
my job. I agree with that too. That's how I felt coaching too with
Yeah.
with the kids. Parents would. The one thing though that I think they kind of went overboard on. This was the rich white school in Albuquerque that the kids went to. I was not allowed to take the kids home, right? So if a parent, because sex, rape, whatever, all those reasons, so you don't put yourself in any kind of situation. I understood that, but when practice ends at 5. And I'm still sitting on the curb with this child at 6:30. I'm taking that kid home, and a lot of times I did too. And no one said nothing. But 6:30.
Yeah, at that point it's like
A bit much.
An hour and a half.
especially it's like in schooling, like if we give it 20 minutes, and if you don't get your child after 20 minutes, they go and sit in the office. But when you're coaching, like there's no office for them to go sit.
Exactly,
You're
because
just
the whole
stuck there,
school is closed, and it's just me and this kid
sitting out on the curb.
waiting for the sitting at the track. Sometimes we would do stuff, but
Yeah, playing the bigger.
but after a while you're like, what are we gonna do? And I would take them home. I said, come on, let's go.
It's like, do you leave them?
No, I would never
Stranded.
do that. Right.
No,
Do you
you
take
can't
them
leave your
home?
child.
Exactly.
Or do you
That's
report
a-
the parents
that's
for neglect?
worse.
I mean,
Exactly.
children have to be released
Of those,
to somewhere.
I would take them
3,
home.
the
And then
best
they'd
is
be
to
like,
take 'em
some
home.
parents would be like, oh, I forgot. How
About your whole ass kid.
How do you
People
forget?
really do.
They
People
do.
Yeah.
It's like the ones who forget their
I never
babies in the
really
back
had to-
seat of the car.
It's not something I've had a lot of really any encounters with. People just forgetting their children. Luckily, but it happens. It's sad, but
It is sad. And on that note, you got anything to add?
No, I think I'm good.
Good? You good, Mama over there? What about you, lizard?
Respect the teachers.
Yes.
And teach your kids to respect
Did you
teachers.
want to ask
Yes.
about the voucher stuff that you were talking about, though?
No, we'll
No.
talk about. We'll save that for another
Okay.
conversation.
We'll bring you
Even
back
with
with the
that, I really
politics,
don't know
and we'll
much
talk
about it.
about
Oh,
that.
hell
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
Not
we
a
will
very
definitely do that.
political.
Well, you're gonna get to be.
I know.
All right,
I
you
try
need to
keep it-
be.
I am, but it's very personal. I keep
Okay,
my
I will
politics
tell
very
you something
personal.
off camera when we're
Okay.
off when we're done. But anyway,
But even that, that's just not something I know.
because I can help. But anyway, okay. Anyway, people, I love you. We all love you. Thanks for listening as always. And don't let shit get you down. You're not alone. We're all in this shit together. Remember that. Peace.
I hope I didn't say anything that would get me in trouble.
No, you didn't.